What's going on, everyone? James Numbers here, and welcome back to another episode of the Political Freedom Fighters podcast. And in this episode, I am going to be talking about the Charlie Kirk assassination that happened on September 10, 2025. Now, this incident was pretty much publicized, literally across the internet and across the world, mainly because Charlie Kirk was a famous conservative influencer who basically made a lot of impact, both positively and negatively, depending on what you believed in. And so, in this episode, I am going to be reading a Wikipedia article on the killing of Charlie Kirk. And don't worry, I will also be pulling up YouTube videos and other news articles relating to this as well. So it won't just be Wikipedia, and mainly because, Wikipedia is not fully known for being fully credible, but I think Wikipedia does a pretty good job in this case of going over the entire events of what happened to Charlie Kirk. And yeah, there are some people out there that are pretty happy that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and I will get into that later in the video, but yeah, I do need to clarify one thing. I am not happy about what happened to Charlie Kirk. I think that what happened to Charlie Kirk was pretty terrible, and my heart goes out to him and his family once again. And it's really insane that people are celebrating people's death, and this is just one incident out of a list of incidents involving political violence that have been going on for pretty much a while, and it really sucks. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know what we're gonna do. So with that being said, I'm actually gonna go ahead and start reading the Wikipedia article right now, and of course I will be stopping from time to time just to give my thoughts about what I've learned from this incident thus far. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start reading the article right now. And you know what? Maybe I should pull up the article because maybe the article might be subject to change later on. And yeah, with that being said, let's read the article real quick. On September 10, 2025, American right-wing political activist Charlie Kirk was fatally shot while addressing an audience on the campus of Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, United States. The outdoor event was the first stop of the outdoor event was the first stop of the season for his American Comeback Tour, a speaking and debate series organized by Turning Point USA, a conservative organization he co-founded. While engaging in a debate about mass shootings in the United States, Kirk was shot in the neck by a gunman who was on the roof of a building some 142 yards or 130 meters away. He was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. A suspect, 22-year-old Tyler James Robinson, was arrested on September 12 and is believed to be the only person involved. Bullets recovered nearby were inscribed with various internet memes and anti-fascist messages from video game internet culture, leading to varied speculation about the shooter's motive. The killing was highlighted as an instance of increasing political violence within the United States and prompted widespread reactions from public figures both domestically and internationally. Although Robinson is not affiliated with any party, President Donald Trump and some congressional Republicans blame Democrats and liberal beliefs. Influential conservative voices called for retribution. Video footage of the shooting spread rapidly on social media. Right-wing influencers and U.S. government agencies launched a campaign to punish those they saw as celebrating or rationalizing the killing, which was mirrored by a wave of firings and death threats as social media users reacted to the shooting. So, damn. So, yeah, basically the assassination of Charlie Kirk has caused a lot of controversy, mainly on those who were celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. And before I continue, I do remember that there were some people who were calling to see the footage of the incident be removed from the internet because the assassination was so damn graphic. So basically, from what I've seen from the footage so far, while it was going on, Charlie Kirk was sitting there talking to someone, and I believe the interviewer was asking about school shootings in the United States and transgender issues when Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck. And when he got shot in the neck, he underwent major shock before falling back on his chair, literally passing out. So, yeah, well, of course, his family should not have to see the footage for themselves, as this would bring flashbacks and emotional pain, so I can understand why there would need to be some removal of the footage. And as far as I remember, I believe that his wife and kids were there, I believe, at the time of the incident. That's what I've heard, but I'm not fully sure about that. I think they were. But with that being said, I think that a complete removal of the footage is a bad idea because this footage needs to be a reminder that this country has to do better. We have to start like getting along and not engage in like violence. Instead, we got to start like communicating with each other in a more civilized manner. Now, I do know some Democrats and Republicans that are like, "No, we want war," and I'm like, "Come on, dudes!" And this is right. That right there is why there are more communists and fascists in the world. Like seriously. And by removing this video, I feel that we will be trying to forget about the incident when we shouldn't. What I'm saying is if we remove the footage, we like altogether off the internet, we will end up eventually like forgetting about the Charlie Kirk incident, and I don't think we should. I do think that for some of us, we do want to see the gore mainly because we want to know like exactly like what exactly happened, why it, where it was coming, where the shot came from, and I think that in general, I think the shooting is a great reminder that the world is very, very cruel. And by keeping the footage, well, not removing it off the internet, we would be like remembering the incident. You know, I know the incident is harsh, but I think using this incident is a reminder that our country does need change, and I am hoping that some good can come out of it. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, let's go on to the background. And I will not be reading all the elements of the Wikipedia article. There will be a stopping point to where I will like give out my opinions myself about how I feel about the shooting. So, we're going to go on to the background right now. So, who was Charlie Kirk anyways? Charlie Kirk was an American conservative political activist, author, and media personality, known for co-founding and serving as CEO of Turning Point USA. A close ally of United States President Donald Trump, Kirk utilized his skills in social media and campus organizing to become a highly influential figure in the hard right movement. Yeah, there are many people who have called Charlie Kirk as a member of the hard right or the far right, mainly because of the views that he's espoused and some of the controversial comments that he said, which I will get into later in the video. So I'm going to keep reading. Described as something of a kingmaker by the New York Times, Kirk was able to rally support to protect embattled Trump cabinet nominees and against Republican Party figures he deemed insufficiently supportive of Trump. The Washington Post described him as, quote unquote, one of the most prominent figures of the right, end quote, in recent years. Axios described Kirk as a driving force in Trump's presidential campaigns. Kirk's killing occurred during a period of deepening division and increasingly frequent violence in American politics. It followed a series of violent political incidents, including the June 2025 shooting of two Minnesota legislators and their spouses, the May 2025 killing of two Israel the May 2025 killing of two Israeli embassy staffers in Washington, D.C., the April 2025 arson attack on Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's residence, the December 2024 killing of United CEO Brian Thompson, and assassination attempts on Donald Trump in July and September 2024. So basically what they're saying is this assassination is part of an ongoing political war where Democrats and Republicans are engaging in political violence against each other. In fact, there are even some people that are taking out their own allies, and it's really, really not good. Since 2016, there has been a large increase in attacks on politicians and government employees. START researcher Michael Jensen recorded 150 politically motivated attacks in the first half of 2025, almost twice the number in the same period in 2024. According to the quote-unquote Anti-Defamation League, the majority of political violence in recent years has been committed by right-leaning perpetrators. They found that from 2022 through 2024, all of the 61 political killings in the United States were committed by right-wing extremists. Counterterrorism experts described Trump's previous pardon of the January 6 attackers as creating a permission structure for them to commit political violence. Most perpetrators do not belong to any formal organization. Instead, extremist ideology spread on social media, where a crude language of memes, slangs, and jokes blurs the lines between posturing and provoking violence, normalizing radical ideologies and activities. Kirk himself spoke about the potential for violence at his events. At a June 2025 event in Shepherdsville, Kentucky, Kirk told the audience, "We're on the front lines where it's not always safe." Okay, and you know what? Speaking of which, there is footage out there literally the let me just show you the footage real quick. Hold on, let me see. Present something else. I believe there is footage. Yeah, there is footage out there of literally Charlie Kirk interviewing the last person, like before he was assassinated, and Channel 5 News actually actually has like a video interviewing not only this person but also other people as well, and also some of the stuff that, and also addresses some of the controversial stuff that Charlie Kirk has said. Now, obviously, I won't be going through this entire video because there's still more reading that I have to get to, but let me show you the footage.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
I went down pretty immediately, and everyone near me, everyone in the rest of my line, who I'd been talking to for the last like few hours, dropped down with me. I remember, I have a brother who was in a school shooting, and I was talking about the distinction between these, that like for me, it was there wasn't as much fear as I think I would expect, because I recognized immediately, like I think I was a lot more logical than I thought I would be in that moment, where I was like, that's an assassination. He is the target. He is the only target. I am freaked out, but I know that I'm okay. Whatever.
Wow. To think that we have gotten so used to gun violence is very, very disappointing. I don't know what we can do to stop like gun violence altogether. I think that the solutions that we have right now don't work, I'm sorry to say. So, yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah. Counterterrorism experts described Trump's previous pardon of the January 6th attackers as a creating... Oh no, I already read this paragraph. Alright, Kirk's appearance at UVU. Oh, come on, please. Not now. Kirk's appearance at UVU. Turning Point USA announced on August 27 that Kirk would be visiting several college campuses during September to October 2025 as part of a speech and debate series titled The American Comeback Tour. Kirk's appearance at UVU was scheduled to be the first stop on the tour. A petition was circulated calling on the university to cancel his appearance, but the university stated that it would allow him to speak in accordance with its free speech and open discussion policies. Come on, guys, we gotta value free speech. Literally, the Democrats and the Republicans are literally attacking third parties in North Carolina right now by basically adding more restrictions on the petitioning process, which I would say is a violation of our First Amendment rights. The Democrats and Republicans don't give a damn about free speech. You know it, I know it, we all know it. But let me go back to reading for a second. Approximately 3,000 people attended the event, which was secured by 6 police officers and Kirk's private security personnel. Though the event was ticketed, no ticket was required to enter the amphitheater, and no metal detectors were used. I don't think metal detectors would have made a difference, considering the fact that this was like a sniper shooting on the roof. It would not have made a difference, I would say. So, okay, I'm gonna keep reading. Shooting. Officials stated the suspected gunman arrived on campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at 8:29 a.m. MDT. Security camera footage examined by investigators showed he was dressed differently than he was around the time of the shooting. Investigators stated that the suspect reappeared on video at around 11:50 a.m. when he moved through a grassy area into a parking lot near the campus. Videos posted by TMZ on Twitter appears to show the suspect in the area described by the investigators. At 11:53 a.m., he stopped at the top of some stairs and quote-unquote pulled out his phone before proceeding into a pedestrian tunnel. Still images released by the FBI showed him ascending a stairwell in a parking garage adjacent to the tunnel. The speaking event began at 12 noon. Authorities said he was seen at 12:02 p.m. walking on the north side of the Lossy Center, where they said he would later shoot Kirk from the roof. According to an affidavit, I think that's how you pronounce it, the suspect entered the Lossy Center from the southeast side and was seen ascending the stairs next to the building 13 minutes later. Investigators stated that by 12:22 p.m., he was on the roof, lying on his stomach, facing the location where Kirk was speaking. Oh yeah, there were like some people out there that actually ended up discovering this shooter literally just before the shot was made. This is very similar to what happened with the Trump assassination last year, and holy cow. Yeah, security measures. Yeah, here's what I think about basic security, right? Security is basically is just an illusion. The security practices that we have now, I think they're just an illusion to make us feel safe. I don't think that the security that we have now actually makes us feel safe. And it really sucks because that means that our privacy is essentially being invaded sometimes for nothing. And it really sucks. And let's be real, and I need to be clear on this. Security is important. Economically, socially, physically, all types of security is important, especially cybersecurity, where we seem to be struggling a lot on that. But we don't really have any security measures that will actually be effective. Because when it comes to security, people don't seem to be concerned about effectiveness, in my opinion. And that is not good because effectiveness is the most important thing that we need to talk about when it comes to security. So, I'm sorry. I'm going to keep reading. Sitting under a tent displaying the tour title, Kirk engaged in a back-and-forth exchange with UVU student Hunter Kozak about mass shootings in the United States. I think that might have been his name, the guy from the Channel 5 News yeah. At 12:23 p.m., a single shot was fired from the roof of the Lossy Center, 142 yards, like I said before, hitting him on the neck. Emma Pitts, a Deseret News reporter who witnessed the events, told NPR, "I just saw so much blood come out of the left side of Charlie's neck, and then he went limp." Former U.S. Representative Jason Chaffetz, who was in attendance, stated, "As soon as the shot went out, everybody hit the deck and everybody started scattering and yelling and screaming." Another witness told the New York Times that no one really got down until the people in front of the stage did, and that the people got down in waves. Video footage also surfaced of the suspected shooter running from the south corner of the Lossy Center roof, where he purportedly shot Kirk, to the north corner, where the ground was higher and he could hang from the edge of the roof and drop to the ground, which occurred at about 12:24 p.m. Palm prints were later found at the edge of the roof, as well as smudges from which samples were collected to look for DNA, and a footprint was found on the ground, which showed he was wearing Converse sneakers. He then moved into a wooded area and north of the campus, where a rifle with a scope on top and containing inscribed bullets casings were later found. So basically, here are the images in relations to the incident. So apparently, this first image here, the shot is believed to have been fired from the rooftop of the university's Lossy Center. So basically, this is the building where the sniper shot Charlie Kirk at. This is an aerial view of the map, and hold on, let me see if I can pull up the image. And I believe right here is literally where the event was taking place, where Charlie Kirk got shot. And this is a map of the locations, literally right here, and the numbers show the events of what happened. I guess it gives out some sort of a map as to where the suspect went. And yeah. All right, let's keep reading. According to the police audio, the first report of the shooting occurred at 12:26 p.m. At 12:31 p.m., an officer then reported gunshots heard near the library. At 12:35 p.m., the officer added maybe the CS building before describing the shooter as wearing jeans, black shirt, black mask, long rifle. A minute later, the officer elaborated on top of the building on the far north side, just east of the library. Kirk was carried by 6 men to an SUV, which took him to Timpanogos Regional Hospital in Orem, where he underwent surgery. His death was announced by Donald Trump at 2:40 p.m. on Truth Social. At 12:37 p.m., the university closed the campus and urged everyone to leave. At 2:01 p.m., the university instructed those remaining on campus to secure in place until police officers can escort you safely off campus. Classes and activities at all campuses, including satellite locations, were suspended until September 15. Investigation. The FBI and Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, ATF, assisted in the investigation. Of course they did. Initial arrests. All right, initial arrest. All right, I have something to talk. Okay, I have something that I need to say after I finish reading this one. Initial arrests. Soon after the shooting, police arrested conservative libertarian activist George Zinn on campus grounds after Zinn. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It didn't sound right. Let me reread this one. Initial arrests. Soon after the shooting, police arrested conservative libertarian activist George Zinn on campus grounds after Zinn claimed to have shot Kirk, but released him soon after. Authorities later clarified that Zinn's arrest was for potential obstruction of justice. It was also reported that Zinn had a history of mental health issues and of disrupting public events. Within hours of the shooting, FBI Director Kash Patel announced that on social media that the subject in Kirk's killing had been apprehended. Utah Governor Spencer Cox stated that a person of interest was being detained. Within 2 hours of Patel's initial announcement, he stated that the subject had been released after an interrogation by law enforcement. So basically, what had happened was there were two initial suspects that were detained. Both of them would later be cleared from the cleared as not being the perpetrators, but George Zinn would end up being arrested for obstruction of justice. And oh yeah, by the way, people initially thought that the shooter was a professional, but I would later on figure it out. I'm sorry. There were people who initially thought that the shooter was a professional because of the fact that this was a clean shot, but I would later find out that it was likely that he was aiming for a mass center of gravity and that he was off by a bit. I actually learned learned a little about this while talking to Rob Yates last Friday in private, and yeah, it basically we thought that basically he didn't believe that it was a professional. A lot of people did. Some even thought that the sniper was an op. I know I sure did, but yeah, apparently that the rifle that that the shooter used, it's basically a. I know I did this. YouTube, please do not censor me, okay? But seriously, apparently that the rifle that the shooter used, it's a common rifle that civilians can own. So basically, I don't know if gun control would have solved this problem. I'm a moderate on gun control, give or take. But yeah, basically, we a lot of us thought he was an op. We thought he was a pro. He's not an op. He was not a pro, and and it's very unlikely that he was actually intentionally aiming for the neck. He was likely aiming for a center of gravity because you know how in the center of gravity, I'm sorry. You know how in this is basically for hunting purposes. You know how hunters they basically aim for a center of gravity, so that they can when they shoot for that center of gravity, that the person that's being shot or the animal that's being shot, in this case I'm using for hunting, that they're not going to be able to run away or go anywhere. The center of gravity is made to make sure that basically the animal doesn't run away. So basically that's kind of what it is. And yeah, all right, evidence and leads. All right, here we go. Law enforcement recovered an older make Mauser type bolt action hunting rifle chambered in .30-06 from a wooded area near the shooting. Engraved bullets and a footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis. In a press conference on September 11th, which just so happened to be my birthday, officials said that they had good video footage and were applying facial recognition technology to do it. Later that day, the FBI indicated that facial recognition efforts had been unsuccessful. Released photos of a person of interest, and offered up to $100,000 for information in the case. Bullet inscriptions. Bullets found in the rifle were inscribed with various messages and internet memes. The spent case was inscribed with quote-unquote notices bulge, oh, what's this? A reference to furry online roleplay. 3 unfired rounds were engraved with, hey fascist, catch, up, ride, 3 down arrows. The arrows reference to a sequence of game controller inputs used to release a bomb in the video game Helldivers 2. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. A reference to the Italian anti-fascist song Bella Ciao, and if you read this, you are gay, Lamau. YouTube. This is not me saying it. This is the perpetrator saying it. I'm just reading what it says. I'm not saying I endorse this. It sucks that I have to say this because I'm afraid that YouTube might take this video down for quote unquote hate speech, which we are not glorifying hate speech. This is just an informative episode on an event that has happened. Like, seriously, I hate the self-censoring that I have to do on YouTube. It really fucking sucks. The song Bella Ciao remains widely known as an anti-fascist anthem. However, it had also resurfaced in popular media in recent years, such as the television series Money Heist and the video game Hearts of Iron 4 and Far Cry 6. Alright, arrest of suspect. A man in Washington, Utah recognized the photo as showing his son, Tyler James Robinson. After confronting his son, the father informed the bishop of his Mormon congregation, who contacted the United States Marshal Service. Robinson was arrested at his residence on September 12th, whereupon an affidavit of probable cause was filed. I'm sorry that I'm not reading well today, guys. I don't know what's going on with me here. Governor Cox said later that day that Robinson was the only suspect. After his arrest, Robinson was transferred to a Utah County jail in Spanish Fork, where a judge ordered him held without bail. He is scheduled to make his first court appearance on September 16, 2025. Okay, so by the time this episode is out, he will have already made his first court appearance. So, alright, we'll see what happens. At the time of his arrest, Robinson was 22 years old and living in St. George, Utah, a 3.5-hour drive from Utah Valley University. He was in his third year of an electrical apprenticeship program at Dixie Technical College. He had previously enrolled in Utah State University, but dropped out after one semester. From 2029 to 2021, while still in high school, he earned college credit from Utah Tech University. Robinson's family were members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Isn't that like an infamous church or something? I don't know. And Robinson's grandmother said the entire family are Republicans and Trump supporters. Wow. Robinson was registered to vote, but not affiliated with any party, and there is no record of him voting in Washington County, of which St. George is the county seat. Robinson had no criminal record prior to his arrest. Okay? Investigators interviewed Robinson's transgender roommate, whom he is said to have been in a romantic relationship with, who showed them messages from Robinson which discussed the need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also I'm sorry about that, guys. The messages also referenced the scope, engraved bullets, and the rifle being unique. After the shooting, in a private Discord group chat where someone said he looked like the man in the initial suspect images, Robinson reportedly joked that he had a doppelganger who was trying to frame him. Really, dude? That the group should give him a cut of the FBI reward money for turning him in. That he would avoid going to McDonald's, a reference to the location of Luigi Mangione's arrest, and that he would get rid of his manifesto and rifle. On September 13, Governor Cox told the press that, according to investigators, Robinson had very different political views than those of his conservative family and, quote-unquote, clearly adhered to a leftist ideology. According to Cox, Robinson appeared to have quote-unquote radicalized after dropping out of Utah State University and may have been influenced by aspects of internet culture. Cox also said that Robinson's romantic partner was shocked by Kirk's killing and was cooperating fully with authorities, and that one of Robinson's relatives had told investigators that during a family dinner, Robinson had expressed dislike of Kirk and discussed his upcoming visit at Utah Valley University. Wow. It's really unknown that whether or not that the perpetrator actually still holds conservative values, because you can still be a conservative and date a trans person, you know. There are some people who do believe that the perpetrator is a conservative and that he was like a member of the far right because of some stuff that I don't know what to say. with that being said, yeah, there were like quite a lot of reactions to this. There was actually like some famous people that were fired literally for praising the death of Charlie Kirk. There were a lot of people who were happy that Charlie Kirk died, and of course there were like a lot of famous people who did express their condolences. There were a lot of people who have expressed their condolences, but what I want to show you guys first is there was a lot of people who basically were happy that Charlie Kirk died, and I can show you guys the videos right now, but you know what? Let me read this first. The reactions to his death were intense. Obviously, a lot of people were calling out the political violence, but there was also a lot of people who were celebrating his death because of some of the stuff that Charlie has said. Now, some of those people have since either been fired, been harassed, or have had their videos and accounts removed. Oh god damn it, I'm sorry. So yeah, basically instead of just reading to you guys all this, I'm actually going to be showing you some YouTube videos of people's reactions to the entire thing involving Charlie. So what I'm going to do is exit something out. I'm going to show a different screen, and yeah, I'm just going to show you the reactions just to give you all a taste as to why like some people don't. Yeah, I'm just going to show you guys video clips on people who basically were happy that Charlie Kirk died, and okay.
It's wrong to murder a baby. It is never right to justify the mass elimination or termination of people.
Show you.
There are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
Charlie Kirk just got shot.
Well, breaking fucking news, folks. Seems somebody just took a shot at one of the Fantafast's favorite 5-mile wide mouthpieces, Charles Chucklefuck Kirk.
I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
And goodness knows the wicked's lives are lonely.
Alright, I'm gonna stop presenting real quick.
There are a lot of people that are like,
hang on. And those reactions right there, you just created a bunch of conservatives. Great freaking job! You just created a bunch of conservatives from your actions. And yes, I know there are conservatives who act like them, and they are responsible for creating a bunch of leftists themselves. Like, fuck. So with that being said, there is another video that I do want to show you. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Okay, there it is. The next video I'm going to be showing you all is basically a news reporter basically talking about how some people are getting backlash for basically celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. So with that being said, I'm going to play that video right now.
Welcome back, everyone. Every day we see people go on social media posting comments after a tragedy. Right now across the country, we're now seeing many people lose their jobs after posting comments about Charlie Kirk's death. NBC's Steve Patterson has the latest on these fallouts.
In the wake of the murder of Charlie Kirk, celebrated in death for his embrace of freedom of speech in life, tensions over speech are flaring. Utah Governor Spencer Cox on Friday calling for calm.
Charlie posted to social media, when things are moving very fast and people are losing their minds, it's important to stay grounded. Turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life.
But in the wake of Kirk's death, online fury indeed, and swift reaction to it. 2 faculty members at East Tennessee State University, among several in academia facing backlash, placed on administrative leave following complaints about their online comments. In Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis' education commissioner issued a warning to teachers making disgusting comments about the shooting. Writing in a memo, "I will be conducting an investigation of every educator who engages in this vile, sanctionable behavior. Govern yourselves accordingly." The fallout also appearing in corporate America. Delta Airlines announcing it suspended several employees over their social media posts.
I'm sorry, we don't put that here.
Office Depot firing a Michigan employee who called a poster for a Kirk Vigil propaganda and refused to print it. The company apologizing, saying in a statement, "The behavior displayed by our associate is completely unacceptable and insensitive." The response also in the federal government, a Secret Service agent put on administrative leave with an investigation underway following comments described as inappropriate. Tonight, a line being drawn over discourse.
You should be allowed to say outrageous things. You should be allowed to say contrarian things.
In the wake of the assassination of a man who defended it. Steve Patterson, NBC News.
Well, the IU chapter of Turning Point USA, which is the conservative political group Kirk co-founded, will hold a candlelight vigil in his honor. That will be at 8 o'clock tonight at the Dunn Meadow in Bloomington.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically, when it comes to the left's view on Charlie Kirk, I will have to say that the left is pretty divided on the response for Charlie Kirk's assassination. There are leftists who act like this, and they are like, yeah, Charlie Kirk's dead! But let's be real, there are also a bunch of leftists that are also not happy with this assassination. They do not support violence, and they condemn the people that are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. So the left is pretty divided. The right, on the other hand, does seem to be much more united, or literally anyone that's not the left, it does seem to be much more united in condemning the violence. There's going to be a lot of people that probably don't care about the Charlie Kirk incident, not because they're mean, but because they probably didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was, or they don't watch a lot of his content. And I understand, because I'm one of those people who didn't really watch a lot of Charlie Kirk content, so I wasn't like sad or anything. I was just in shock, because I couldn't even believe that happened. But there is a video by the name of there's a video by the Revolutionary Blackout Network that does kind of explain as to why the left does not support Charlie Kirk, and why they are afraid, and why they just don't like Charlie Kirk in general. And when you watch this video, I think you can get a little bit of an understanding as to why the left will not support Charlie, or some parts of the left will not support Charlie Kirk. And when I watched the video, I'm like, oh, okay, I see it now. And yeah, so with that being said, I'm going to pull up the video right now. I'm sorry, guys. I once again have come. I'm very unprepared for this. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. I am very, very unprepared for this video. So I'm usually never prepared for these episodes, so I do apologize. But hey, it is what it is. With that being said, I watched this video. Oh my freaking god. I'm sorry about that, guys. I hate being interrupted by phone calls again by another spam caller, but anyways, let's play this video right here by Revolutionary Blackout Network.
Charlie Kirk, unfortunately, is another victim of white-on-white violence. But don't worry, he died doing what he loved, trying to start a race war and supporting a genocide.
Hamas uses the kids as human shields on top of their military bases. It's called Judea and Samaria. It's not called Palestine.
You don't believe that Palestine have the right to exist?
No, everyone has a right to exist. Show me where it is. It's a non-existent place. I don't think the place exists.
What?
Because it doesn't. It's called Judea and Samaria. It's not called Palestine. There is no starvation in Gaza.
The war started because 1,300 Jews were killed and 200 were taken hostage. And when you declare war on Israel, expect a firestorm in reaction. Hamas started the war, and I don't see people that were really upset about the 2 million Germans that were killed in World War II, civilians. A tragic truth of war is that civilians die. I don't like it.
And when you see comments like, and when you hear stuff like this, you can understand why there are people who resent Charlie Kirk, because holy fuck, this is a bunch of neoconservative propaganda.
And you don't like it. And they brought it upon themselves.
And so civilians are going to die, and that is a tragedy. And Hamas brought this upon themselves.
What happened to Charlie Kirk is exactly what he supports Israel doing to Palestinians in Gaza, where they are murdering over 100 Palestinians per day. Violence has no place in America. Save that shit for the brown kids we kill overseas.
Basically what he's trying to say is that there's a whole bunch of hypocrisy going on for people who are basically mourning Charlie Kirk but don't mourn for the black and brown people that are in Palestine. Basically, there's a hypocrisy. They don't want death here. Let me try to think like a leftist, okay? As a leftist, basically what I think he's trying to say is, as a leftist, if I were to see all this, I would say the right is being hypocritical and because the right only supports death from abroad, but just not here, just not on our side, but we don't care about anyone else. And yeah. And if you're a leftist and you think like that, I can kind of understand a little bit. I can totally see it, because death is terrible, period, no matter what. And we want to try to reduce the amount of it as best as we can. How? I don't know. But let's continue watching.
Supporting a genocide is not a simple political disagreement. So I'm going to show Charlie Kirk the same respect and death that he showed George Floyd, who he wouldn't allow to rest in peace.
Damn. Yeah, I actually didn't know about that. I didn't really pay too much attention to the George Floyd incident, to the George Floyd murder, I'm sorry. And wow.
Same right-wing scum who shared memes of George Floyd dying are now expecting us to show respect for their dead Nazis. These people are such shameless hypocrites, but Black Twitter is not letting them off the hook. Not only did Charlie Kirk monetize the death of George Floyd and called him a scumbag, he even attacked MLK. This man released an entire video series demonizing and attacking MLK. Meanwhile, we're supposed to show him grace? The grace that he never showed us?
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Now, we know you do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously.
Damn.
You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously.
This shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were afraid. I mean, 4,000...
1940s was better than now? Keep in mind, my state was a one-party dictatorship back then, so I think that's way too far.
Thousands black men, women, and children were killed in violent lynch mobs.
That's your explanation, but
racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is worse than it has been
that affected
in the last 80 years.
The generational psyche of an entire group of people?
Well, I'm sure it did. I'm not discounting that.
We note in our piece that Kirk describes King as, quote, a bad guy. It's true. And Kirk self-described very, very radical view that the country made a mistake when it passed the Civil Rights Act. Also true. Why does Kirk believe passing the Civil Rights Act was a mistake? Now, again, apparently they don't listen to the show because we do that at least once a week, right? Once a week we talk about why the Civil Rights Act was a mistake.
This motherfucker spent the last few weeks of his life trying to start a race war between black Americans and white Americans. Meanwhile, we are supposed to mourn this scumbag. Now white America is trying to rehabilitate the image of this racist scumbag and paint him as a hero. We absolutely cannot allow that to happen.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage.
Now, yeah, now that we finished watching this video, I hope you can all at least understand why why some parts of the left feel this way. Because, yeah, if I was exposed to all this, and if I was treated like this, I would be acting just like them. let's be real, I would be extremely vengeful myself, you know? So I understand where some parts of the left are coming from, and yeah, I understand. So, and that's it. Nonetheless, there are a whole bunch of people who have basically given out their condolences as well to Charlie Kirk, because no matter how you feel about stuff, death is still pretty horrible, and yeah, we really have to do better as a country, like I said before. There have been a whole bunch of people that have given condolences. Blair White has given her condolences. Hardlines Media has also given condolences. The Yvonne made a video as well. Joe Rogan and Charlie Sheen also saw the news and gave their condolences at the end of Rogan's episode interviewing Charlie Sheen. John Calhoun also made a video as well. JD DeLay also made a whole bunch of videos regarding this issue as well. And there have even been politicians like AOC who have given their condolences as well, condemning the incident, condemning the murder, I should say. But there's also a song out there by Tom McDonald who's dedicated to Charlie Kirk, and it's a pretty good song, and I want to share it to all of you guys as well. Hold on, there's an ad coming up. God damn it. I hate these ads. And it's number 1 on the music trending chart. Let's go. Congratulations, Tom. And it's... Come on. Are you serious? YouTube doesn't want me to show this video. Wow. Is YouTube trying to censor Tom McDonald now or what? Okay. Alright, I can finally, share the screen. Enter the screen window. Chrome tab. No. Yeah. Before I start the video, let's read this together. Yesterday, in a violent act of cowardice, an assassin took Charlie Kirk's life. My heart goes out to his wife, his 2 children, and to his millions of loyal supporters. All proceeds of this song will be donated. Rest in peace, Charlie. And this is how basically a lot of conservatives and a lot of people really felt about Charlie Kirk being murdered. And I think a lot of people can resonate with Tom on this song, because this is horrible. Charlie Kirk was basically assassinated for practicing his free speech, and it really sucks. And this second sentence right here, my heart goes out to his wife and his 2 children. Yeah, Charlie Kirk had a family. Not only did he have a wife, but he had 2 kids. He had a daughter who was 3 years old and a son who was 1 year old, and now they're going to have to grow up without a father. And people talked about this a lot, and basically, these kids are going to grow up without a father, and apparently people who grow up without a father apparently don't seem to turn out well. It's not always the case. There are a lot of people there's lots of people who don't have a father that turn out well, but wow, losing your father at such a young age is just devastating. You know, it's really harsh. But anyways, let's actually finally go and finish the song, or listen to the song rather.
Shot down and he was barely 31. Another woke coward took a life with a gun. He left behind a wife and a daughter and a son. All he did was try to speak for all of us. And I'm so tired of the hatred and the narratives. The patriots ain't dangerous, woke people are the terrorists. They shot and killed the father, sent a message to Americans. They ain't gonna stop until they bury us. Dear Charlie, I don't know if you can see us now, but if heaven has a window, I sure hope you're looking down. Cause we ain't going quiet, we gon' scream your name loud. And you're gone, but I swear to God that we gon' make you proud. We ain't backing off or giving up, I'll preach what you taught me. They may have killed a soldier, but that man had an army. This is far more deep than some political parties. And you can't kill freedom, so this one is for Charlie. This ain't the America that all our parents love, but good men try to keep making it great. Pray that God will take care of us, the system is failing us. When good men die for the things that they say, and I can't just be quiet. So I gotta be brave, cause this is America. Lately it's scaring us, but one good man can change it all in a day. Killed in cold blood for having a discussion, and liberals are celebrating murder like it's justice. You didn't kill a villain or the evil that it comes with. You killed a father and a husband. And I'm so tired of the left and all the wokery. We can't get along if you just kill us when we don't agree. Sniper rifle fire from a liberal that no one sees. Scared I might be next to die when I'm just buying groceries. Charlie, we'll make sure your children know that defending all our freedom is why you aren't coming home. I hope heaven has a window you can watch your children grow and hear your message echo from below. And we ain't backing off or giving up, I'll preach what you taught me. They may have killed a soldier, but that man had an army. This is far more deep than some political parties. And you can't kill freedom, so this one is for Charlie. This ain't the America that all our parents love, but good men try to keep making it great. Pray that God will take care of us, the system is failing us, but good men die for the things that they say. And I can't just be quiet, so I gotta be brave, cause this is America. Lately it's scaring us, but one good man can change it all in a day.
Alright, that's it for the music video, and yeah, Tom MacDonald does make a lot of songs about attacking the left. That's basically what his entire, basically all of his songs are about. He's basically attacking the left, attacking the Democrats, and basically he's basically MAGA, pro-America first. You got the idea. But you get what I mean, right? There's a lot of people who are upset about Charlie. Charlie Kirk has been inspiration to a lot of conservatives, and a lot of conservatives are now going to be more emboldened to speak out because they do feel threatened and they don't feel safe. And for many conservatives, many have felt like, specifically in college campuses, there have been many conservatives in college campuses who feel like they can't express their opinions because the liberal elites have taken over a lot of the college campuses. So if liberalism, when liberalism like dominates in college campuses, and if you're a conservative, yeah, you're gonna feel alone, and I get it. So yeah. So with that being said, there was also a bit of a there was also a bit of a scuffle in Congress in regards to the Charlie Kirk incident, or the Charlie Kirk murder. Why do I keep saying incident? I don't know why. But yeah. Basically there was a shouting match like in the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk murder and in Congress, so and I'm just going to show you all this just to
Please rise for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk and his family.
Yep, this is basically a silent prayer. Oh, wait for the shouting match. Wait a minute. Oh,
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Colorado rise? Shh. Let's wait a minute.
All caused this. Wow, look. This is Democrats and Republicans. They are basically clashing each other just for show. Let's be real. A lot of these guys don't care about Charlie Kirk. I know it's sad, but a lot of these politicians clearly don't give a damn about Charlie Kirk. They're clearly using this incident just to build their profile, and that's about it. They just want to build their damn profile so that they can advance their political careers.
The House will be in order. The House will be in order. Shh. The House will be in order. Shh. The House will be in order. We will join prayer right after this, okay? The chair lays before the House a communication. The House will be in order.
Shame on these politicians. So, anyways, alright, next up is hold on. Oh yeah, I'm going to read a bit about the domestic response real quick, mainly the third paragraph here. Actually, you know what? No, I I'm actually I don't know if I should read out like the entire domestic response. Yes, obviously Donald Trump, JD Vance, all these guys, all the politicians have condemned this, but I want to read this third paragraph right here because there's a couple things that I want to talk about. The New York Times described Trump as condemning political violence, but only on the left, while downplaying or seemingly excusing political violence on the right. Yeah, unfortunately, politicians do it all the time. The right supports violence that are led by the right, and the left supports violence. And you get the idea what I mean. It described him as abandoning the traditional presidential role as a unifier to instead blame his opponents and vow revenge. In his nationwide address, Trump solely blamed the radical left for Kirk's and other recent deaths, saying that they compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to far-right activists. I don't think I can say that on YouTube. Trump did not express concern about recent Democratic victims of violence. The Atlantic criticized the response for blaming his political opponents as accessories to murder, and NBC News called Trump's response far more polarizing than many of the other messages offered by politicians and representatives of both sides. The Economist noted that contrary to Trump's accusations, most perpetrators of political violence in recent years have been right-leaning. Trump ordered all federal government flags to be flown at half-staff until September 14 at 6 p.m. in Kirk's honor. So the flags are no longer at half-staff, and I want to talk about the half-staff for real quick for just a second. Why? There's literally like no point in this. And to be honest, when it comes to like the flag being like half-staff, all it is just a complete and utter grift to make it look like, hey, I'm actually doing something, but really, you're doing absolutely nothing. Look, let's be real, there's a lot of people who die, like, every day that are just as important as Charlie Kirk that don't get a half-staff. And I'm pretty sure there might be some that are in the same realm as Charlie Kirk. But he gets a half-staff? Like, why? It's bizarre to me. Charlie Kirk was never elected into political office. Now, if Trump or Obama or Biden were to be dead and the flags were flown at half-staff, fair enough. But we're talking about someone who was never elected. Like really? Like, there's no need for the flags to be at half-staff. Yes, I know the death of Charlie Kirk is awful, but yeah, that's it. The death of Charlie Kirk is terrible. The flag should still not have been flown at half-staff because Charlie Kirk was not elected. And that's it. Yeah. No point. Trump later released a video tribute to Kirk and announced that he would be posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Now, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, I genuinely don't care about that. There's a lot of people who get the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Sometimes people who don't deserve it, but hey, I don't really care much about this medal because it's something that, oh hey, somebody got this honor, that's good, and then we're going to end up forgetting about it. So, it is what it is. And with that being said, what is my reaction to this? The incident was terrible. This should have never happened. We have to start protecting ourselves, and we need to start protecting free speech. But I can understand why some people would be happy that Charlie Kirk will no longer be able to spread his hateful views, you know. But there are still some that, like, I'm glad he won't be able to spread his hateful views, but I still don't think that how he became a martyr. No, I'm sorry about how he was assassinated. I'm sorry. I am very foggy on my words today. Basically, I'm sorry. The last few days have been quite intense. Basically, my reaction to this is this shouldn't have happened, but I can understand why some people are very hateful to Charlie Kirk. But that doesn't mean you should condone his murder. No, absolutely not. And quite frankly, this incident did make Charlie Kirk a martyr, and for a lot of people on the left, this is going to suck because now a lot of conservatives are going to rise up and speak out more than ever. And yeah, basically, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself a villain. And for people on the right, Charlie Kirk ended up dying a hero. So, yeah. And how do I feel about this? This is not really good for anyone. And I do want to speak to my fellow third-party and independent people in the state of North Carolina. The increasing political violence is getting worse, as you all know, and I'll be honest with you, I'm glad that political violence isn't coming to us yet, but let's be real. The Democrats and Republicans are already making efforts to make sure that we struggle more when it comes to getting on the ballot. What if they try to what if they turn the political violence onto us? Like, if that is to happen, there's going to be no one who is going to save us. So basically, what I am basically saying is, for all third parties and independents, we have to stick together more than ever, and we have to start protecting each other more than ever. Because if both sides come after us, there's gonna be nobody who's gonna save us. I don't want to believe that, but we do need to address reality. We need to start working together in terms like protecting each other, come up with some ideas to make sure that political violence doesn't come after us, to make sure that we are all alive so that we can all spread our values and so that we can all protect our freedom of speech. Now, once again, I do believe that the solutions that we have right now are not sufficient. But if we can work together, I think we can come up with something that is more sufficient that the Democrats or Republicans can ever really come up with. You know what I mean? And oh yeah, there's one last thing I wanted to say. Look, we're all gonna eventually end up moving on from this. Sad to say, but we all know this is true. The events of Charlie Kirk actually reminded me of what happened to Christina Grimmie in 2016 when she was murdered by a stalker fan. Like the Charlie Kirk situation, people were very sad about what happened to her, and there were a lot of people who were mourning her loss. And sadly, her death would end up being overshadowed by the 2016 Orlando nightclub shooting, where 50 people, including the perpetrator, died in one of the most devastating mass shootings in U.S. history. So basically, I do see parallels between the Charlie Kirk and Christina Grimmie situations, murders. And yeah. So, with that being said, that's actually going to be it for this episode. What do you all think? Do you all think that Charlie Kirk deserved to die? Well, no. Let's be real. I don't think Charlie Kirk deserved to die, but do you all feel like Charlie Kirk should be honored or memorialized, or do you think that Charlie Kirk should be demonized as a villain? What do you all think about Charlie Kirk? And hopefully we can have a good conversation on this. And if you all enjoyed this episode, I'm sorry for my stuttering, but these last few days have been hectic for me, and whoa, there was a lot of information I need to go over. If you all have enjoyed this episode, despite my stumblings, hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you're new to the channel, and I hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you all later. Peace.